It's because I already went through a stage where the emptiness became very destabilizing. It culminates in what Dr. Hawkins called the void and what I call the formless unconditioned. And when you get there, you're like, what the heck? You read all about this God stuff and this love stuff and like pure unconditional joy. Like, where the heck was it? And then I had to integrate. Like, if you watch that first video I made, the people were saying like I sounded nihilistic and stuff. I mean, there was like a shock, and there was and for I didn't. That was years ago that I experienced that, and still made that video saying like I don't know if any of this is real. I don't know if any of you guys are real. I don't know if any this is actually helping. I don't know if I should be doing this or not. And then you read about, apparently the Buddha didn't know if he should teach, but then apparently devas spoke to him, like the angels, and said, please teach. There will be people who will benefit. That's exactly how I felt after that experience. Not like I was fully enlightened like the Buddha, but the formless unconditioned, I was like, what's the point? If it all comes out of the same thing, it all goes back to the same thing, it all happens eventually anyway. It's all by the grace of God. Like, I didn't choose for that to happen. It just happened. And I'm like, what's the point? Why would you teach anybody anything? There's really no point. And then you wrestle with that for a while. And then you realize that like you're just ignoring the intuitive call within to teach when it comes up because you're constantly questioning whether or not there's a point to it. And you're like, wow, that's just uncomfortable. What if I'm supposed to teach and I should stop questioning it? I should stop even calling it a supposed to. It's just like when I my lungs expand, I breathe in. When they contract, I breathe out. It should be that simple. It's when someone asks me a question, I answer, and I do it in love and presence, and that's it. It just all sort of slowly became more grounded and comfortable. Like, oh, I am allowed to just enjoy someone's company and like not think about whether or not they're a dream character. I'm allowed to just enjoy a tree and not think about how like it all dissolves one day, it's just all mind-made torture and I didn't want it anymore. So it's like more smiles, please, more smiles.
So, based on what I'm hearing, does that mean you were wrestling with solipsism as well?
Oh yeah, definitely I was wrestling with solipsism for a while. Like a cosmic solipsism. Sort of like the big A alone. Like, am I really all alone here? And then a couple of clips from Dr. Hawkins talking about it because someone went on stage and I saved it to my phone. Someone went on stage at a lecture and said, this happened to me. I was reading the Upanishads and I would go to the library every day at break and read the Upanishads because she was a teacher or something. And one day as I was reading it, like the whole floor opened up underneath me and I like fell in and I was just flying through space. And then suddenly the space opened up underneath me and it was just like nothingness, no thingness. And he's like, yes, it seems like you had an experience of the void. And she's like, the question I have is where the heck's God? I thought like I was supposed to experience God, but all I experienced was me for infinity. And I'm like, that's exactly what I experienced, just me. And then it all came back, so it's all just me. And then he's like, yeah, that's what you get for going down enough on the path of negation. And the next step is to relinquish even the concept of no thing, the concept that you're all there is. And apparently the last hurdle is the fear of the ego's annihilation. And he talks about it in his books a few times that there's only one real death, and that is the complete death of the ego. Like apparently once that happens, you experience the peace that passeth understanding, and the ego mind chatter stuff is gone forever. And for me, all I have to do is take his word for it because I don't know what that's like yet. But he says that's what happens. He describes his journey, but who knows? I still take everything Dr. Hawkins says with a grain of salt because I'm not going to know until I experience it for myself. I think it's important to like define solipsism because solipsism, like what the heck is solipsism? Solipsism is like it could be like you think you're the only real human being and everything else is a dream, or it could be like what happened was after that experience coming back into form, I look at Jonathan and I see a body and a face and stuff, but I also feel an energy field that is not separate from my energy field. And then I go look at Shiro and it's the exact same thing. And then I look at Parker and it's the exact same thing. But then with each of them, there's like a different level of inner blockages. And I'm like, I sense them. And I'm like, if only I could like love them or something in a way that dissolves all of those blockages, And then when I think about that, it's like scary because then what happens when there's no more blockages? Like, do we all just meld into one person, like Power Rangers or something? Like, I don't know. And then I have to let go of that fear because it's just a fear. And so it was that solipsism where I look at all of you guys and I don't really I see a body obviously that's separate from me, but you guys are closer to me than brothers. And I don't expect when I say that to someone, I don't expect them to understand it. But ever since the formless unconditioned coming back into form, everybody is like my sibling. But everybody is like my buddy. They just don't know it. And sometimes I have to like show them that they're my buddy. And sometimes they're hostile towards me and they don't know that I'm their buddy. And then they might realize it, they might not. I don't know. It's really, really
Mm.
bizarre. It's so bizarre. And sometimes there's a lot of fear involved in that because there is like a weird capital A aloneness to it. Like, I don't know. But then I can also choose to laugh. I can also choose to like feel joy and love towards you guys rather than fear that like if you guys melded into one being that I would disappear. Like, why should that be scary anyway? I don't know. You're getting the raw stuff. Like, this is the stuff that
Good
I'm,
rant. I love
yeah, I'm working through. Like, this is the stuff that maybe I need a teacher for, I don't haven't met one yet, I am open to it. I've prayed like, God, if there's somebody who needs to teach me like where I'm at, please send them.